Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 77 for the week of October 1st, 2012. My name's Ryan Higgins. Who's with us this week?
Brock Sager.
The beautiful Omar.
Really? Not you, this guy.
Oh, Charlie West.
And joining us, special guest, longtime friend of the store, recent listener to the podcast, but we decided to have him on anyway. Give a hand, a hand for Mr. Bryce Larsen. Bryce, say hello.
Yay.
Hello.
Oh,
Bryce
perfect.
Larsen.
You can get a little closer to the mic. It's all good, though. You're good. You're fine. Hey, Bryce, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good, thanks.
Excellent. All right, Bryce is a longtime friend of the store, a HeroClix player as well for Omar.
Yeah,
one of
man.
Omar's HeroClix guys.
He's one of the founding fathers here in the store. Got me in, sucked me dry. I'm fucking like poor and shit now.
But we'll keep the HeroClix talk to the minimum for the guys that aren't into that. But Bryce is here for another reason as well. Bryce is a huge Marvel fan.
We don't like to call it Marvel fans, Ryan. We just like to call ourselves educated.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, here on the Comic Conspiracy, we have a lot of big DC fans, and Bryce, I like to give him shit every week when he's buying his giant stack of Marvel. So I thought it'd be fun to pull Bryce in, and he can defend his titles, give us some suggestions. I'm actually going to make Brock choose a recent Marvel comic that he's a fan of. So we're all going to have our Marvel pick of the week.
Wow.
We're going to do it. So I didn't tell Brock beforehand, but I don't want him flipping out.
It's okay.
But
I am reading a couple Marvel titles.
Nice.
I'm reading quite a few.
Yeah, we'll get Brock's to throw down some Marvel love here. I think
some Marvel love.
We have some Marvel hate in this podcast a little too often, so let's throw down some Marvel love here. But to start, Bryce, I know you haven't only listened to a few episodes of the podcast, but we'll get you started the way we get all our guests started here. You've been a comic book fan for quite a while. Tell us your secret origin. How did you start reading comics? Do you remember what the first book you read was? What you're reading like these days. What do you collect? Give us as much or as little as you want.
Well, Ryan, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking me and dredging up the extreme awkwardness that was my childhood. Unlike, I'm sure, so many of ourselves and our listeners. So I actually do, embarrassingly enough, and I don't think I've shared this with any of you guys in our Wednesday afternoon shit shows, but actually I was at camp when I was really young. And
this story is already scaring the crap out of me.
So believe it or not, unlike the strapping, handsome gentleman that I am today, I was at one point in time a much more reserved, introverted gentleman, and so camp was let's just say, there's a lot of it was you're away from mom and dad and you're really young, and it's a scary time. So my mother, and what you will with that, sent me the reign and death of Superman arcs that were coming out at that time. Perfect 90s, whatever. She would send these like on a weekly basis to me at camp, and I would get to read the latest stories as who's the real Superman, the alien, the kid, the black guy.
So DC pulled you in.
Yeah, well,
wow,
Bryce,
that's awesome. Steel, Cyborg Superman. Wow.
See, I think Bryce is the opposite of me. Whereas I started all Marvel and then became a big DC fan. It sounds like Bryce started DC.
It was a complete accident. My mother realized the error in her ways and started sending me X-Men. And those of you that grew up in the 90s know all about our friends Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, and know what they did for the X genre and for Marvel.
Wait.
And
we have another Liefeld fan here?
Yeah, I'm simultaneously embarrassed. You guys actually last week talked about which ones that everybody really loved that you hated or vice versa, and I actually am embarrassingly love all things Liefeld. Even though he can't draw an ankle or an arm to save his life, I will pick up lots of books that he draws.
Well,
awesome.
That just comes with being a giant X-Men fan.
Yeah, that's true.
You kind of can't avoid it. Well, maybe now you can, but for a long time you couldn't, because I think he's done with Marvel and DC at this point.
For now.
I think they're done with him.
So
for now.
So blows with the wind, as far as I understand.
So when you get in high school, college, that type of stuff, did you keep reading? Or?
As I grew up, I was like, what's really cool is not this DC drivel, is actually all things Marvel. Like
Wow.
growing up with Spider-Man and Maximum Carnage,
Yeah.
and the Executioner song, and the other saga I forget that was he crossed all 4 X books, and
There's been a lot.
and you got to like collect all these books every single week, and it was great. And so I actually grew up with all this Marvel love, and at the time. You guys can enjoy your DC stuff, but that was the era, and maybe I was just the right age, but the era for a young up-and-coming Marvel fan to be able to appreciate comic books in the form that they were, and have become since.
Nice.
So you pretty much just described the heyday of Marvel Comics for me. So I'm just curious, what kept you?
So,
Did you stop, or did you pretty much read all through?
So what happened was then I went to college, and during college, Marvel went almost out of business. And for a while, I was like, is it because I went to college and I stopped buying so many books that they went out of business?
It's all your fault they went bankrupt. Not the industry exploding. It's all your fault, Bryce.
And so as far as I understand, they were not having too good of a time with themselves and financially, and issuing lots of junk bonds, and that's a different story. But I let them sort of ride it out. I'm an unabashedly big fan of all things that Brock, for example, hates, including.
Well, this was when Brock loved Marvel.
I read all
the Onslaught saga. I
love that.
The
Onslaught
Age of
was awesome.
Apocalypse.
I love.
that was incredible.
Everything that all of you DC lover Marvel haters talk crap about Marvel. I was on board. I was like, look, this is.
He's looking at me, Charlie, not you. Don't worry.
This is ridiculous. I'm sort of looking in an arc at all of you guys except for Omar. So Marvel, everything the schlockier the better. Give me dudes and chicks in ridiculous colored spandex that was written better than DC, which is not difficult.
Well,
and I loved it.
so I'm still waiting for you to educate me on what kept you past that era, because everything you've named so far is all from a particular era of X books I loved.
No. That went from the beginning, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, all the way through Onslaught, which is hundreds of issues later.
Yeah,
so what kept me is that the drivel remained of a certain quality.
But Onslaught's been
10 years?
10,
12?
15? I mean, Onslaught's been a long time ago now.
So I'm sorry, I was covering the first 10 years. The second 10 years, I was introduced. Let's just say, let me just look at the wall here. I mean, I was introduced to. So the Clone Saga got me out of Spider-Man completely. Good Lord.
Now this is sounding familiar.
Okay, so whatever. But there's a little character named Deadpool that came along that I was a huge fan of,
and we're back to Liefeld love.
And that's what it was. And all you DC people can say what you will about.
I have no problem with
Deathstroke,
Liefeld.
and how awesome was it that he did the cover for Deathstroke Zero or whatever it was. That I don't read the New 52, but if I did, I sure as hell wouldn't read that. So anyway, I can just say that with regards to the last 10 years, that it's been consistently, let's just call it consistently Marvel in terms of nothing groundbreaking or earth-shattering, except for, I think, to a large degree, Brian Michael Bendis came on and changed the way that things are, and Brock still can't get the stick out of his ass about it, but
It doesn't do anything for me.
Now, you did read Green Lantern for a little while, right? You jumped on that Green Lantern ship for quite a while.
So
you were pretty into it.
Let me put that out there. I don't want to seem that I hate all things DC, although New 52, I can, with regards to take it or leave it, I will completely leave it. Jeff Johns is amazing. He's fucking phenomenal. In fact, Ryan actually had him in the store.
I'm really glad he said that, so we don't have to go outside and fight.
I would have Omar as my champion, and you would be taken care of. So actually, so Ryan had him in the store, and Jeff Johns he's amazing. So, as far as I'm concerned, everything that he touches is great. And so I loved all the Green Lantern books, and Ryan is actually, as listeners of this podcast know, this podcast is rife with just DC love, Marvel hate. It's all in all the reviews, and I was giving him shit about it. But anyway, everything that Jeff Johns touches, as far as I'm concerned, is amazing. And so Ryan actually introduced me to this, and I actually did love the Green Lantern stuff, and I slowly grew my collection to every book Green Lantern related until the New 52, and then I was like, okay, that's, I read the Red Lanterns, and, that Belize chick is hot, but I'm good.
Okay.
You're missing out on Sinestro, though, in Green Lantern. That core book, if you just stick to that one, it's fine. And then now that you're year 0
you can't do that with
one,
sorry.
Go ahead. No, please.
You can't do that with Green Lantern because you have to have subscribe to all 6.
You X-Men readers are all the same, aren't you? You guys are just such completionists, aren't you?
What is the poster that Ryan has outside? It's the Third War or something like that. Third Army.
That's just
and it's like, you must buy all 3 of these books every month. And it's,
wait, don't you have to do that with half the X titles anyway?
Yeah, but I'm already doing it with the X titles, and it's a better story.
Now, one thing I found out about Bryce.
The look on Charlie's face was about to.
Now, the one thing I found out about Bryce is he is actually, whether he was aware of it or not, Bryce was actually a fan of a particular type of internet group that he was totally unaware of for a long time, yet he was an active participant of. And this is known as the act of shipping. This is what you take fictional characters and you are involved in the relationship aspect more so maybe than sort of the overall plot. Or this is a very popular internet thing, especially with comic books and anime. Now, when we got into conversation about the X-Men, one of your things, you're like, the relationship between the characters, especially the romantic relationship between them.
Yeah.
And when I explained this is a thing, you were like, I've never heard of this, but it makes sense. This is a lot of message boards. A lot of online communities are very big on shipping. You don't do any of the online comic stuff, right? I mean, you're pretty much forums.
Give it to me floppy, baby.
But I mean, you don't do forums, you don't do Twitter, you don't do any of that stuff, really, right?
Not yet.
I mean, you're not on comic book resources every day or Bleeding.
No. What's that website you go to every day? It's
just Bleeding Cool and Newsarama and all those.
Newsarama, that's
whatever. He goes to Comics Beat. He's like the number one fan.
Yeah, Bryce is one of
3,000 posts.
Yeah. This is actually something I try to tell a lot of people, that there are very few people who are actually reading comics that are also on these sites on a daily basis. It is very much a loud majority or loud minority of people that are on these. Your average ones that customers never even heard of these sites, let alone the internet community. They kind of leave it.
As very evident by certain things like Before Watchmen and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So, I thought it was funny when I was explaining this concept of shipping to Bryce. He's like, that's great, and I think you've never gone in, and you should not venture into this online community.
Just don't.
But the X-Men shipping community is a very large one, so maybe someday you'll make a big fan of it.
Interesting that you say very large one, Ryan.
I think most of Marvel fandom is shipping, but that's just me.
So here's how it should all end. Okay, this is it Jason Aaron that's doing X-Men Legacy right now?
He's doing Wolverine and the X-Men.
He's Wolverine and the
All right,
X-Men.
well,
Isn't it
how am I
Carey
educated?
doing X-Men Legacy?
Because I read them all and they all amalgamate in my head. So Rogue belongs with Gambit. Actually, Cyclops belongs with Jean Grey. Sorry, Emma. You're really hot. But they just tried to grow up Cyclops so fast, and they're just like, no, he needs a different woman than when he was 16 years old. So let's put him with this girl. Psylocke belongs with Archangel, and there's some rules for people that grew up and are my age.
Spoiler. Doesn't Cyclops die this week?
Probably next week.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I'm just too busy going, so everything you've named, they've already broken up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they need to sell books.
So
I heard that Gwen Stacy's back alive.
So how do you stick with Marvel if these are the things that you want to happen?
Because
I know why.
Hope springs eternal, Brock.
I know why. It's because of that number on the cover. You got to get them all. You have to put them all in order. Yeah. And then you've developed a little fetish for binding, haven't you?
So this is another thing that Ryan got me into, actually. Guilty of most things in my comic book lifestyle.
Apparently I'm a great enabler, because I'm like, hey, Bryce, have you ever heard of this thing called comic binding? And now you've got hundreds planned. I say, hey, Omar, you should come check out this HeroClick thing. Now he fucking runs the league in the South Bay.
No, the fucking, not just the league, the primary venue in the Bay
I got
Area,
stuck with Brock. Here's some comic books, sort them. I got the shit into that stick.
Well, you get paid more for it than I do, which is I just spend a lot.
Yeah,
this is
me
true.
too.
This is upside down.
But Omar has gone, or Bryce has gone. You've gone crazy with the comic binding,
bindings.
and you're in the process of doing like a literal, almost complete X-Men run.
Yeah.
From what are you starting with, like Giant Size, or
Starting with Giant Size and Uncanny Number 94 and going all the way through current times. And I've got like, 70-something, 80-something volumes planned, and I'm up to volume in the mid-30s or mid-40s actually bound. They look awesome. I'll bring them in.
Cool.
So I have a question for your binding. Are you putting them in issue order or reading order?
Reading order.
Perfect.
That's such a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass, but
Especially with the X titles.
here's another thing: is that it's so much easier to pull a book, and this is the whole argument binding versus not. But it's so much easier for me to pull a book off the shelf and read it like a hardcover graphic novel than it is to open every single floppy and tear off the tape or open the tape and the plastic and slide it out and keep it in your mint condition. And,
Do you do a table of contents in each one?
So I actually have not. I plan to do a separate laminated table of contents insert.
Oh wow!
But this is,
like a menu.
You're gonna put
a menu down the line.
that's cool.
There'll be a binder at the front that you pull out and you just flip through. Okay, this is in this volume.
No,
All right.
it's just going to go in the front next to the hardcover. It's just going to
Or
slide in.
you know what you could do?
I actually like the idea of the binder. That way you could go, okay, Onslaught, that's in volume.
No, because my binding, you guys will see, has the complete X-Men in big bold on the spine.
Yes.
And then underneath, it's sub themes like Atlantis Attacks or Secret Wars or
Like-
Onslaught Part 1 or Part 2. It takes two,
Very
by the way.
nice.
2 fucking volumes for Onslaught. Unbelievable.
I was seriously blown
I'm
away
just waiting for an omnibus.
when I walked in the store one day and you had your collected editions of, was it Exiles or some like random? It was some random.
No, I also did Batman and Superman,
Okay.
and I have a Green Lantern one, and I have 52. Oh God, do you guys remember that one? And
Hey, 52 is awesome.
But it took me back to like the early '80s when people used to sell like encyclopedias and like those kids like
Yeah,
big
yeah.
old books collection. That's what it looked like. I was like, man, that shit is beautiful.
See, this is me just picturing somebody going to house going, do you have any kids? Would they like some nice bound?
Yeah, right.
no, like the old pedophile and Family Guy. So actually, part of the impetus behind binding everything was because my wife, we don't have so much space in our place, and she's like, you have these 12 long boxes that could make a nice 6 long boxes of actually bound
Which
bound
is
books.
just
Wow,
for you
that's
listeners.
awesome.
That's one Billy bookcase from IKEA.
Yeah.
Nerd alert.
Is that?
What? It's good to know that information.
What's a Billy book?
Can
we get to-
the thing right there?
The Billy.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
The long boxes are a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, so not quite, but close
Well,
enough.
Well, no, that's what fit on mine.
Yeah.
6 long boxes of trades. Bam.
But my curiosity is, do you actually save room by binding?
I mean, so it's a couple things. So first of all, yes. So there's
I
that.
was not aware.
So you do. Second of all, I think that it looks sexier when you have them on like a bookshelf, and
Yeah.
I can put it on there, and my wife is like, "Oh, that looks really much nicer than that awkward white cardboard box."
With
and then
weird stickers on it from the 90s.
I also think that it's just so much easier to read. I'm going to read a
absolutely.
hardcover bound edition before I'm going to open like 25 different floppies in order.
I honestly would have thought it would take up more space to get them
Well,
hardback.
Charlie, first you're losing the bag and board, and that's going to take up any space taken up by the actual front and back cover, and you're probably taking up less space with the cover than the bag
Well,
and
and
board.
they also press them because I know at my Rebels,
right, and
my Rebels was like 29 books, and the stack was this big. The trade came out to about that big. I mean,
Oh, wow.
it's like it almost cuts it in half
well,
at times.
well, they take out the staples and they cut along the edge, so that bend, even though it doesn't look like very much, that gets compressed way down. So yeah, it is actually smaller.
Well,
Yes, you do save some space, plus you lose the bag and board. So again, this is for people that don't, if you don't care about collection or if you just want a good way to read them. I mean, yeah, this is great, and I've got so many that I want to do down the road. So
I'm
get
getting
to 'em.
there.
I
trying to get,
totally
like,
was
6
not
together.
aware it saved you space. That's awesome.
Totally awkward. My wife says smaller is better. I don't know what she's talking about.
All right, we're going to read a couple
Don't go-
questions
don't go
here. Bryce, you can jump in here and answer some of these as we go through them. I'm going to read some. We got some questions on Twitter here. And actually, maybe this is a good one. This is from CrossX Hunter. He writes us all the time. He says, "What is everyone's favorite event book from the past decade?" And so, if
That's
you're
easy.
talking if you're talking 2002 to 2012, you're basically House of M and Identity Crisis and up. So there are not too many events right before those. Omar's got an answer. What's your answer?
Easy. Sinestro Core War. That was just phenomenal. Like, no doubt, Identity Crisis, Infinity Crisis? Infinite Crisis, Identity Crisis. Was that before it? But that was
Identity Crisis, then Infinite Crisis, then Final Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the order of the DC Crises.
That's the order of operations of the real, for the real readers out there. But yeah, definitely Sinestro Core. I mean, because of Sinestro, it's like straight up Hitler, baby. I gotta celebrate. Hail Sinestro.
My choice was Blackest Night. Yeah, I love Blackest Night. Loved all the tie-ins. Yeah, that event was awesome.
Bryce is already shaking his head.
What's pretty cool about both of those series, though, really quick,
Come on, bring it.
Just to tie these together, these are bad guy stories.
Yeah.
Like, at least in the title and the feel. And yet they did fucking incredible. Like, anyways.
I don't know. I'd have to say I really, really enjoyed Brightest Day. Because that was the first time I'd actually read a comic book.
Unbelievable.
And was actually holy shit when the reveal happened.
Yeah.
Like when Swamp Thing came out and the elementals and stuff, I was just oh my holy crap. And then it ends with Firestorm and he's going to blow up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh.
So there's a theme going here.
I was gonna say pick a Marvel book, Bryce, and then I'll pick another DC book.
All right, so do I have to pick 7 to counteract? So let's talk a couple things. Let's say really quick.
One book.
One. How about a couple small ones?
One.
So Annihilation War was amazing.
Oh yeah. I gotta give you on that.
So don't get me wrong. I loved Blackest Night and Sinestro Core War. Brightest Day, meh.
I agree with you. Annihilation was awesome.
I think that what Remender's doing with X-Force is fucking amazing. I think that the whole...
That's not really an event.
No
it was
talking
totally
over.
an event.
No, it has to be an event book. That's
can
the question.
I fucking finish my statement? So what he did with... in fact, actually, all the talking shit, I'm not sure it was him. With Necrosha, with sort of tying in X-Force with when Clayton Crane was doing the art.
That wasn't Remender. That was the guys that were doing him prior.
Did he only start with Uncanny?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Point being, what they did with X-Force, making them more relevant. When they said they were relaunching X-Force, I was like, are you fucking kidding?
You're talking the Cable, when Cable had his own series and stuff like that.
Yeah, Cable had his own series. Aerial Fidelity, that was fucking bomb. And then they tied in X-Force, and they somehow tied in New Mutants and X-Men, and they made it relevant. They brought back Apocalypse.
Bryce, I'm sorry to say, Necrosia's just a second-rate Blackest Night. I'm sorry.
Well,
see, if you had said Second Coming or Messiah,
or maybe,
all right, hold on. All right, so
Dark Angel.
Also let me just acknowledge that Civil War was fucking nothing you guys have ever seen, and Secret Invasion was nothing you ever seen, and you can hate all you want, but these are all fallen. No, look, I'm a huge Bendis nerd and fan, whatever. But you can't acknowledge that these things had an everlasting impression on the entire Marvel universe.
Pick one. What's your one? Give us one.
Annihilation War. I loved.
Yeah,
okay.
I
agree. The space stuff that Marvel did was phenomenal with Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest. That stuff was awesome.
And it came out of nowhere. I mean, the space stuff from Marvel, nobody's paying attention to that.
Abbott Landing did a great job.
Fuck.
All right, I'm just going to pick Infinite Crisis here because I had so much fun with that. You guys are all talking over each other. Of course. Superboy kicked ass in that. It was so good. Yeah, but a good pick on Annihilation. That was, that's been some of the best stuff Marvel's done recently. We've said that so many times. I got a lot of people asking about Green Lantern and Young Justice. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But
let's do it.
Let's grab one more question here, and then we'll talk about new episodes. Let's see. After 1 year, this is from Southern Coyote on Twitter. He says, after 1 year on the New 52, are there any characters you're ready to see reintroduced? We've answered this before, but we can answer it again. His is Adam Strange. I'm going to go ahead and just agree with him. Adam Strange is one of my favorite characters, and I would love to see a new Adam Strange comic.
I don't know. What Diggle and Pascal Ferry did for Adam Strange.
That was great.
It's fucking awesome. And where do you go from there?
I mean,
They like really brought him forward, and then it's like, okay, see ya.
Yeah, well, that just led into the Rand Thanagar War stuff. So, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot you can do with Adam Strange. And at this point, you just relaunch him and send him off new. He's just leaving Earth for the first time. You know?
No, that's right. He was Rebels.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think there's more you can do. Brock, who do you want?
Outsiders.
I knew you were going to say
Sorry.
that. You're so obvious.
No, why don't you just
Gotta get
grow
it.
some balls? Don't just see outsiders. Say what you really want to say.
Outsiders.
Geoforce.
No,
That's what you really want to say.
He's part. You can't separate him. He's part.
When
of
you
the
look at
Outsiders.
when you read his stories, you see a red-haired hero, and
I
you
know.
think
I
of yourself.
love it. It's awesome. Big
Right.
hand coming up from the earth,
Right?
squishing your nuts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, baby.
Omar, what do you want?
I'm gonna pass right now because I'm just still laughing at Ginger over here.
It's okay.
Bryce, what's your favorite DC character that New 52 has? What would get you to buy a DC comic right now if they introduced a brand new book with a character that you love?
Look, so two things. First of all, if they could do a Green Lantern book that was like by itself and just, I didn't have to buy like 4 different books a month to keep up, then I would say that. Beyond that, I'll say Metamorpho.
That'd be cool.
I would love some Metamorpho action. Other than that, they have like 6 Batman titles. Give me the Black Batman.
They have like 14 Batman titles.
All right. Well, I was trying to make fun of him, but
That's a
you
lot.
just one-upped me. One-upper.
Yeah, he's a one-upper.
There is a black Batman. It's called Batwing.
Yeah.
I know. I was trying to make fun of him.
They should have went with Runner because it would have been such a better book.
Night Runner?
No, just Runner, the French Batman.
Is it
The one
Night
that-
Runner?
Is it
his
Night
name?
Runner?
I think it's Night Runner.
I think it's just called the Runner.
No. I think
What's
it's-
that?
We can
the,
look. We can check it out.
The skier. The what was that guy's name? Not with the New 52. The old guy that used to ski and bring death with him from
Black
Dark
Racer.
Black Racer.
Black Racer.
He's awesome.
He was a hero in Final
he's-
Crisis, right?
Yeah, he's awful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jack Kirby's
racism and skiing.
Death on skis. He's awesome.
Well, they kind of let go of the skis and they brought him into the whole Flash pantheon, so they made him the Black Flash.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm missing out.
Charlie, who do you want? Wally West? Don't say Wally West or Donald Trump.
No, I wasn't going to say Wally West. I'm just thinking there's not like I'm excited to see like a new Hush story in the New 52 or a new Race story in the New 52. There's a lot of particular characters where I don't necessarily feel like they're holding them back. They just haven't got to the new stories with them yet.
There's a lot of villains that we haven't been introduced to yet. So
Well, they took the first year for most of these characters doing new villains.
Yeah.
So now we get the return of the Joker. And
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to go forward with this now and have a lot of classic villains come back
Yeah.
for the second year.
Okay, I'm inspired.
What do you got?
I'm inspired from Bryce's DC talk. Deathstroke. Deathstroke.
The real Deathstroke?
The real Deathstroke, please stand up. He fucking needs to come back. He needs to be written.
I thought he had a book.
Yeah, he has a book, but it sucks. It's like
It's not really
besides
Deathstroke.
the redesign by Clay Hamner, which is fucking phenomenal. I actually really appreciate it, though. Of course, classic Deathstroke. It's just in my mind the perfect Deathstroke look. Yeah, just sucks. And to not cross over with Nightwing, that's just the biggest mistake ever. And I
Yeah.
know there's some understanding there to kind of keep focus on the 5 years before and whatnot. We all know they kind of fucked up on a lot of that, but yeah, hopefully they put a real creator on there and do it. Yes,
I love how you like both insulted Rob Liefeld.
Oh,
I didn't say any names.
dude's a joker, but I fucking love him.
Well, no, I love like I hope they put a real creator on there.
No, actually, Rob Liefeld as a person is a fucking funny and cool guy. But besides that, yeah.
I mean, I would have. My answer would have been probably something like Deathstroke, but I thought he had a book, and apparently he does. I'm not reading the New 52. Spoiler alert. In my opinion, it's awful, but.
Oh, here's one for you. Here's one for you, Bryce. Okay, you can have first answer on this one. This is from the Serial Kills, another one guy on Twitter that writes this all the time.
man, our Twitter guys are violent.
He asks, "What book are you most excited for coming? What book are you most excited from Marvel now? What book are you? What book are you leaving? Like, what book are you dropping due to Marvel now? Due to the switch up? Is there any that you're really excited for, and are there any you're dropping?"
So, great question, serial killer man. So, let me just tell you, I'm very excited about Marvel now. I do not know the entire lineup, but I am excited shamelessly about everything Remender's on.
Yes.
Let's talk about some Cannonball Sunspot, Ryan,
Oh,
on
God.
Uncanny Avengers.
Here we go.
I am so excited that some lesser-known dudes are getting some limelight. I don't think frankly, I love Marvel, and I don't think that they deserve to be on Uncanny Avengers, but whatever. I'm so glad to be dropping First Class X-Men and Extreme X-Men, and hopefully they're quitting Astonishing X-Men. Like, I love X-Men to death, but there's just so much drivel there that I cannot wait to have an excuse to drop.
I think they're just going to put out more titles.
Well, then I'll probably buy more. But in any capacity, that's my thing, is that all of the extra X-Men stuff that I can that's superfluous that I can get rid of, I'm excited to get rid of. All the current X-Men and Avengers stuff, I think that AVX is fucking amazing. All the listeners didn't hear, I think, in my opinion, a good enough review of AVX Round 11, since you guys gave it all of 5 minutes in 2 podcasts ago.
Well, we're going to have 12 comes out this week. We'll have a final big wrap-up of AVX.
It'll take 15 minutes.
Next week. Yeah.
No, 10.
So I texted Ryan and I said, dude, this was the best comic book I've read in so long. And he was like, that sounds like me with Blackest Night.
I'm actually just thinking
That's a great impression.
that's because you stopped reading DC.
Oh, snap.
Well, in any capacity, Cyclops just being a fucking badass motherfucker was awesome. And, having him face Professor X, etc. We can talk about that later, but I think that AVX has been awesome, and I think that what they do with it, and Brock can spoil it as much as he wants, whatever they do with it, I think is going to be great. And I think that Bendis writing X-Men will be, I think, totally sufficient, and I think that the way that they're going to mix it up is going to be great.
So is there a particular type? So Uncanny Avengers is your particular title you're looking forward to?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Wade's Hulk.
Nice.
That's the one I'm
Yeah, a
waiting
lot of people are looking forward to that. Are you dropping anything, or?
If like everything, I'm just going to read every single number one as they come out and make my decision then on what's worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, I think, assuming I'm not totally turned off with Avengers, this may be the thing to get me back onto buying an Avengers book monthly. I don't know if I could do new Avengers. I don't know if I care enough. But I mean, I'm still working on my Avengers run, and I missed buying it for the last decade. So let's see if that can happen. Cap, sorry, Cap. John Romita Jr. Done. I'm off. I've been buying Cap since Brubaker launched it, and I this is my straw. I can't do it. Even though Brubaker's not going to be writing it, I thought maybe I'd stick with it. Nope, can't do it. Sorry, done.
Ugh.
Brock, anything?
Well, I won't be reading Cap anymore, and I won't be reading Winter Soldier if they continue Winter Soldier. But like Bryce said, I don't think anybody really knows what the hell they're going to keep coming out with. Well, because it keeps changing every week, or this is coming out and this is coming out. I mean, I'm kind of excited for Guardians, but is Loeb still writing it?
They have not announced it officially yet.
So, but I mean, I'll be reading these like Charlie, but buying a Marvel title? Ugh, no.
I'll be buying them. If we could get maybe, I don't know if Ryan even knows, a quick rundown of maybe the top 10 or the top 12 books coming out from Marvel, because I don't even know. I don't read previews every week.
The Marvel Now list is Uncanny Avengers, which is going to kind of replace, I guess that's kind of its own book. All New X-Men is replacing Uncanny. That's the Bendis one. There's a new Cap, Thor, Iron Man. Mm-hmm. Those are getting replaced. There's a new X-Men Legacy that's going to be about Legacy, his kid, Professor X's kid. So he's going to be the headlining character in that.
Yeah.
Legion, I'm sorry. Not Legacy, Legion.
Come on,
but it's called X-Men Legacy. What else is there? There's a few
X-Force.
others. New X-Force. They're relaunching X-Force. New Deadpool. And Remender's off X-Force, which sucks.
Boo.
I want to say there's one or two more. I said New Deadpool.
Is there two X-Forces?
There's a Fantastic Four.
I'm sorry. Fantastic Four
Matt
and FF, right? Yeah, Matt Fraction's jumping on both of those. So Avengers, New Avengers.
They'll have their Guardians. They have
Guardians has not been announced yet. There's Avengers Club, like the Avengers Fight Club book that's coming out. That looks stupid as hell.
Oh my god,
there's
joking.
A+X.
But I don't think that's an ongoing, is it?
It seemed like it was going to be.
A+X is like the Avengers and X-Men sort of team up.
But then there's also like the Aftermath book. I'm assuming is not going to be ongoing, but it seemed like the A+X was going to be.
It might be
A+X. That sounds like a shipping title.
It's like the new team up book. It's like Marvel team up except Avengers plus X-Men. So it's one Avenger, one X-Men teaming up.
Is there two
random creative teams?
Is there two X-Force books? Because I remember they're having Psylocke lead a team, but then there's also the one with Cable.
Oh, there's Cable and X-Force. That's a completely separate title.
Yeah, and then there's X-Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, and then there's the new Thunderbolts, which is like the black and red Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it looks cool. Elektra, Punisher,
Red Hulk.
Red
Yeah,
Hulk.
it's
Not Dark Avengers anymore?
It's Thunderbolts being led by Thunderbolt Ross, basically.
Yeah.
With Punisher.
Yeah. Yes, Punisher, Elektra, Deadpool, and Red Hulk. Right.
Yes.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it
Lot
looks
of
cool.
teams.
I hate Red Hulk, but awesome.
Omar, what's your pick?
I'm dropping FF and Fantastic Four because Hickman's off it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Fraction, but mainly during his Iron Man run and his best book out there that I can't even think of.
Hickman?
Casanova.
Oh, Casanova.
Casanova.
Yeah.
That's like his best shit out there. Like that's like one of my favorite books. It's incredible. Just talks about sex and has Fabio Moon on a gay robot. It's like blows your mind.
I can look at the book. I tried reading the first one. It looks nice.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, just titties flopping in your face.
At least there's no grovel porn in it.
No, none of that. Does have robot sex though.
That's always fun.
The book that I'm gonna actually the answer. The answer.
we didn't get a pick.
What I'm gonna read? I'm sorry, Hickman and
Avengers.
Opeña.
Yeah.
Avengers. I mean, it's gonna be fucking phenomenal. Looking forward to Cannonball. Miguel Aguirre. What's his name? What's Sunspot's name? He's like
Roberto de Cosa?
Yeah, Roberto de la
Come
Cosa.
on,
Welcome
motherfucker.
back, son. Welcome back.
Yeah. I don't even love them that much, but the fact that they get like a main title book underneath their belt is, I mean, I don't think they deserve it. And I love Marvel, but, fair play.
Well, see, the fact that Cannonball's on there, part of the reason I love it so much is because I remember when he was promoted to a member of the X-Men.
Uh-huh.
And they kind of made the big deal about him moving from the X-Force team to the X-Men team. So this is like They kind of had him sidelined for a long time since then.
Yeah, they haven't done too much with them, so.
So it's nice to see him still getting some limelight.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on. Bryce, party foul there, so let's clean up whatever you spilled. All right, here we go. I saw you. I see you.
I love Bryce. I have company now.
The wedding ring beer opening was my foul.
So this one's for Omar, and this one's for Charlie, and less so for Bryce, and definitely less so for Brock.
It's about cartoons.
It's a cartoon conspiracy is about to start. Hit that
buddy.
button.
Bring out your cereal.
We need to have a sound effect for that.
Cartoon conspiracy. Wah, wah. So Green Lantern and Young Justice finally started back up this weekend.
So good.
Start with Green Lantern first. Just get it out of the way because did you see Green Lantern?
Yes.
Omar?
of
Okay, you did.
course.
And Charlie did. We all saw
yeah.
Green Lantern. So if you haven't seen the new episodes this week, may want to fast forward a little bit.
Or just pause. Watch it now.
Watch it and come back. Pretty decent episode. They brought in Guy Gardner. It had DJ.
Wait, time out. Not just Guy Gardner.
Hold on.
No.
We'll get to that.
No. I'm not going to say. They brought out Peter Tomasi Guy Gardner. Like, it was straight up like the cool-ass Gardner that is just your dude bro. Yeah, buddy. And just like running around like, giving the pulling out the pistols for all the ladies. Like,
and they
that
had
was shit.
It was Diedrich Bader, right? That's how you pronounce his name. The guy that did the voice of Batman in Batman and Brave and the Bold. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, that guy's voice sounds so familiar, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, it's Batman. It's fucking. Well, no. At first, I was like, I was just so used to that voice now from Brave and the Bold that I was like, oh shit, it's Oh my god, now I just totally blanked on the other guy's name. The guy that did Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, Kevin Conroy?
At first, I was like, it's Kevin Conroy, and I'm like, wait, that's not right. Who is this? And I was
that's
like,
very much not right.
well, and that's what confused me because I'm like, it's the guy that plays Batman, and so I was like, it's Kevin Conroy because Kevin Conroy plays Batman, but like it wasn't processing properly in my head. That wait, no, that's Diedrich Bader. That's who played him in All Star and they're Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
So perfect, great job though. He did fantastic. Guy Gardner's amazing, but the big tease is freaking Anti-Monitor.
Yeah, in the beginning.
I totally never thought we'd see in any kind of animated cartoon. Like, there's just certain characters that you're like, yeah, that's never going to show up in a movie, a cartoon. I'm kind of blown away.
Now, we have a lot of big Jeff Johns fans here, and Jeff Johns loves him some Anti-Monitor. He'll throw him in the middle of anything for no reason. And I'm like, and I'm with them 100%. The Anti-Monitor is totally ridiculous, and there's no plot to them. It's just a big badass. It's awesome, and that's all I care about. So
fucking came through, activated all the fucking Manhunters.
Yeah,
it was so good.
So we're basically kind of getting I guess a take on the Sinestro Corps stuff.
Yeah,
because Anti-Monitor ended up getting one of the rings, and I'll be real curious how this plays off. If they're just like, we'll just do Sinestro Corps without Sinestro, just Anti-Monitor and the Manhunters. Like, that's awesome if that's the case.
Yeah.
So
either way, I mean, like you, I get very excited to the prospect of having the Anti-Monitor show up in this kind of form.
Yeah.
And I love me some Manhunters too. So
promoting Hal to the Honor Guard, that was cool.
Oh yeah.
That was cool, but it seems like a way to get him off Earth again.
That happened.
Well, I think it was. Yes, it did happen, in the episode.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
not in the comics.
No, he's
not
like,
in the comics.
I'm still stuck on the fact that Charlie loves him some Manhunter.
Yep.
But I'm curious. Well, I mean, just sending him out there to be on Oa and to get him off Earth. I mean, the animation of stuff when they're on Earth is always a little kind of anyway. So I'm happy if they kind of get him back to Oa and get him back with all the aliens.
I don't really mind them getting back to the aliens. It just seemed like a weird left turn considering where they left things with him and Carol in the previous episode and stuff. It's kind of went from their relationship seems to be doing good to, okay, now that he's back after all this happened, his relationship suddenly doing bad.
Well, that's just the standard superhero. Oh, everything's going good. Oh, I got called off to duty. Blah blah blah. Oh, I got to go. And then it's the classic Peter Parker, Mary Jane, just over and over. And
well, no, it's just the last time we saw them together was when he came back through the Star Sapphires. His memory was kind of wonky.
Right.
She helped him get it back, and then pretty much said, "Yeah, go save the universe."
All right.
And this pretty much picks up when he goes back to Earth trying to resume his duties now that the Red Lantern threat has been dealt with. So it just seemed a little weird that they left things on a very positive note between them.
Yeah.
And then brought it back on a very negative note.
Yeah. I'm sure they have to have some sort of conflict. So.
Oh, come on, I just overthink everything. I know it.
So what about Young Justice? Oh. And now, Charlie, you didn't watch Young Justice yet, huh?
I watched like the first few minutes.
Are we going to spoil some stuff for you? Do you care?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'll go home and watch it.
What was the little short in between? Because the shorts are fucking incredible.
They did a Teen Titans short.
That one was okay.
Oh, yeah, the commercial.
Yeah.
That was all right.
And then there was another short.
Oh, that was so good.
Teen Titans.
Yes, it was the Justice League girls or the Teen Titan girls versus Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy. I don't fight girls. Yeah,
that was so good.
That was great. Those the Batgirl, Supergirl, Wonder Girl ones are fucking phenomenal. Those are awesome. Yeah. Solomon Grundy doesn't fight girls, and so they beat the crap out of him. Pretty funny. But Young Justice, man, they're not effing around in this show.
Fuck no, it's incredible.
This is straight up one-armed Arsenal going to kill.
So badass.
The
Lex,
the real quote unquote real Roy Harper.
Yeah.
Just is like, that's it. I'm back. I'm done. I'm gonna go kill Lex Luthor. Luthor basically names him Arsenal, and he's like, "Yep, cool. That's my name now."
No, but come on, you just like glossed over what was so fucking incredible. Mercy Graves getting fucking play
Mercy
on
being
animation.
Mercy being like some badass robot.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to use a bow. I only have one arm. I'm going to use this one-armed grenade launcher and fucking blow up LexCorp Tower. And I'm going to use like machine guns and everything." Like he comes out of nowhere, and now he's like, "Now I am Arsenal, and I've got like a cyborg." Arm like Winter Soldier and all this
straight
shit.
Up.
Yeah.
But what they also did too, they played real subtly to the fanboys out there that are actually reading the books. And I remember that Speedy's actually a play off of just this kid that was like just doing drugs and shooting up heroin. Like they touch on it where they say, oh yeah, his problem and this and that going through things, and now his fix is like, oh yeah, just the arsenal, just
right. The guns
with the weaponry,
now.
Yeah, which is
interesting.
Dope.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I almost forgot. Do you remember Who Knows Aqualad is not the traitor? He is a bad guy, quote unquote, but he's like undercover. But there was so much talk. Oh, and they had as a huge fan of Captain Cold. What a weird Captain Cold cameo.
Sucked. I was so pissed about Captain Cold, just like being a little bitch like that.
He was all goofy. I mean, I was cool with him getting beat down by all the girls, but it was like he was all like kind of
Was he drunk?
I don't know. He was all goofy and like he, and he had like this like.
No, Captain Cold is fucking premier, the ultimate like Flash villain in my opinion, and he requires respect. And I was not happy about how he was treated on that.
That was a real real odd Captain Cold. But I mean, they wanted a villain for all the girls to beat up, so I mean, I guess that was fine. And it was a funny scene.
Yeah,
but
it was pretty funny. They're in a baby shower and whatever, bridal shower, not baby shower.
Bridal shower, and then they all come out and bust their ass. But yeah, I think we're gonna get as the show goes on, more and more people that are like I mean, eventually they will learn because Artemis is still alive, right? I mean, she's still there. She's at the end, and then
the only people we know at this point, assuming they didn't add anybody.
Yeah, who was at that last meeting? I can't remember.
It was Wally,
right?
Artemis and Nightwing.
Okay, that was then
Calder,
and then right, Aqualad. So okay, that was all of them. I thought there was a fifth, but that sounds right. So yeah, I'd be real curious to see what they do with this going forward because they kind of throw a lot at you with this episode. With having no recap and no Brock and Bryce
DC doesn't have a recap page? What the
Brock and Bryce are falling asleep like Brock, you need to get over this no cartoon thing. Like these are bad apps.
It's incredible.
I will watch these cartoons when my son is of age.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say something about Brock and not liking certain things just because he doesn't do it.
We'll get
Friday.
We'll get
Friday.
Into that. We'll get into that
on Friday.
I know.
Fucking Brock was all, "I hate you, Omar. Fuck you. I hate you." And then he's like, "I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong?" Friday's our day for HeroClix events and shit. And I was like, "What's going on?" I was setting up and stuff, and he's all, "They got fucking outsiders, OG outsiders." I'm like, "Didn't I tell you that last week?"
No, you didn't. You didn't explain it to me.
So yeah, Marshall had a little time with him. Marshall's a total fucking. He's a fire marshal. He goes through all the rules and regulations. He knows everything. He fucking says it. So he was like just preaching the gospel to this guy.
I told Bryce earlier. I'm like, so I will get in. I guess inducted with this new Batman set that's coming out.
Well, okay. Hold on. Young Justice, Green Lantern. We're not going to talk every episode, but when something awesome happens, we'll talk about them. So we'll come back to that maybe next episode. For right now, real quick. Go
ahead. We're talking.
Brock.
What?
You don't do games.
I used to.
You don't do this type of games. You used to play Magic a little bit.
I used to play Magic,
like that, right?
There was like 7 boosters.
Now you've been seeing these guys play HeroClix for a while, right? Yes. And we're not going to talk a bunch of HeroClix for the haters because there's some haters out there. Oh, Bryce wants to talk apparently, but
exactly.
So Brock,
yes,
you've got a few pieces, right?
Yes, I've gotten a couple pieces.
Okay, but now they're coming out straight up with a whole bunch of the outsiders.
Yes,
in this new set.
Marshall was kind enough to show me some of the sculpts that were coming out, and I had some reservations. I was like, well, is there a Geoforce piece? Yes, he's the super rare, and I'm like, damn it. I'm like, all right, well, they need to have like Black Lightning. Yep, they got that.
Yeah.
Damn it. Do they have Halo? Because if they don't have Halo, I can't go. They got Halo. I was like, oh, I'm screwed.
Yeah. So, are you actually going to play? Or are you just going to?
I'm gonna. I told, like I was saying earlier. I was telling Bryce this. I was like, they have the Justice League Generation Lost team that's going to kind of be in here, and they also have the Wildcats, which I like those teams as well. So I think with this set, I'm gonna give it a try and learn the dynamics of the game. So when I'm actually making fun of it, I actually am a little more educated about it. So
the first step.
Good for you, bro. Good for you. I'm proud of you.
To actually talking, bullshit or shit about the plastic crack.
Hopefully all those new great sets will bring the Infinite Longbox guys back in.
Anything's possible. We're even talking about going back to WoW, possibly.
Nice.
What?
Bryce is a big WoW player. Me and him got a lot in common here. Rolling Hunters, but this isn't the Geek Box. This is the Comic Conspiracy. So we'll talk about we can talk about
pandas or something.
Yeah, let's not talk the Kung Fu Panda.
Come on, there was a WoW comic for a while.
Actually, a brand new one came out. Pearl of Pandaria. The hardcover came out last week, actually, or 2 weeks ago. Art by Cheeks, one of Toby's favorite artists. So I get to talk.
See, we can talk about it as much as we want then.
Yeah.
There's some new trade for the comic coming out this week.
Yeah, it's one of the other ones that came out.
I do love myself some WoW.
Yeah.
Ashamedly so.
Well, now, you love Marvel, so let's talk about Marvel. We haven't done random picks in a while. We're going to do an all Marvel random pick.
Wow.
Now, for people that...
Selling out,
This is going to be painful for most of us.
No, now for people that haven't heard these before, because we haven't done these...
educated of us.
For a little while, and Bryce... When me and Brock started this podcast, we decided to do a lot of filler because we didn't have too much else to say. So we did some random picks of the week. Where at the end of the episode, we just go through and be like, we're going to pick a random comic. There's no production, no off the top of your head. Just look around the store, think real quick about something off the top of your head. All right. So we'll come up with something. We don't do them all the time now, so we've got more people. We got a lot to talk about. No, I like doing it. I was so bad at picking something.
This is true.
But every now and again, we like to bring this back, especially when we have guests. So we're going to do a random pick of the week. So it's going to be a Marvel book. It could be whatever you want. It could be new, old. Give the listeners a pick. Give us your pick. And
Bryce,
we'll all do something.
Bryce, one pick.
One pick.
All right. Well, for my one pick, first out of 7 of all. Just kidding.
And it could be like a single issue, a trade, a short story. Don't be like Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, I'm
all
on
of
it.
them.
So first out of 6 of all. No. So I'm looking at your wall, Ryan, and I'm seeing an inordinate and unnecessarily large amount of Mystique. I would love myself some more Mystique. Let's go through the rule books. All right, Mystique, background shrouded in mystery. Check. Totally hot. Check. Was once on the X-Men.
Cool power.
Check. Cool power. Thank you very much. Check.
Was played by Rebecca Romaine Stamos in the movie.
Boom,
awesome,
motherfucker. Check. That's at least 5 checks if I'm counting my fingers correctly. Okay. I think that it would have to depend on the art, shamefully, and the writer, not shamefully, for me. But if there was a Mystique book out, I would consider. I've not read a single issue of Mystique, but I see an awful lot of Mystique out there, which is kind of weird.
Okay, so you're not actually picking. Okay, no, maybe.
No, I'm picking Mystique. Boom, reading it now, right now.
Oh, you want to read that right now?
Right now.
Okay.
Who writes it?
Well, that'll work.
Jason Aaron and
Jason Aaron. What?
What are you talking about?
No.
Oh, the actual book Mystique.
It's behind Marvel Zombies. You probably can't see it.
Sean McKeever.
Yeah, the Mystique book was by Sean McKeever. It's okay.
Oh, probably amazing.
No. Okay.
All right, you wanted a random book.
No, a book you have read.
Yeah, a book you
Oh,
have read.
I have read.
Yes, a book you've read that you want to recommend to the fans, the listeners of the podcast.
Oh, dude.
They may not be fans.
Can you come back to me? This is my first podcast. Unbelievable.
It's anything. Just this is the whole thing. Top of your head.
Top of my head.
Top of your
Any
head.
random book? Anything that Remender has ever touched in his life.
His brain is going to blow up.
50,000 books. Okay, let's move on.
No, that's fine. I'll pick it up for him so that he can.
No,
because Remender right now is just destroying X-Force with Apocalypse as a kid. He's being trained by the New Brotherhood of Mutants, which is led by Daken, and kind of like, Sabretooth is kind of just like playing with Daken and saying like, oh yeah, Wolverine, fuck that guy. He's not the dad like I am. I'll take care of you. And everyone's just like totally messing with them. And Phantom X was killed. And there's this one guy that has like his skin. He's like shredding up. They play jokes on him.
Skinless man.
Yeah, the Skinless man. He threw out Phantom X and said, oh, it's me. I'm here. But he was pretty much just using him as like a little puppet. And poor little kid
Evan.
Apocalypse. Yeah. Poor little Evan was like, woo. And it's so cool because it's almost like a play of like Dark City. Because like that was
Dark City.
Oh, Dark City was a cool movie back in the 90s.
Damn.
It was it was like actually the original script was supposedly also like based on Invisibles too. So Morrison, you should get some money.
Anyway, Remender has not written that much stuff. Secret Avengers, Uncanny X-Force, Punisher used to be, now Venom. Yeah. Boom, you're done.
Okay.
Anything he touches is golden.
Sounds good.
I agree.
Bendis, Johns, Remender. What's up, motherfucker?
Brock, let's get it out of the way.
Oh, jeez.
Give us some love. Give us some Marvel love, man. Come on.
You used to be a big-time Marvel dick writer.
I know.
It could be an old book. And don't pick Guardians of the Galaxy. Pick an old book that you like. Just any Marvel book.
Jerk, you stole it. I was going to say that.
No, you're not allowed to pick Guardians.
All right.
That's like me picking New Warriors.
This is true. I'm going to go with...
Bryce is also a big New Warriors fan, I found out, which is great.
Bagley.
Pick it. Let's go. Come on, Brock. A little more enthusiasm into this.
I'd have to recommend the Cable series, the last one that was out, with the stuff where he's traveling around with Hope. That stuff was really, really good.
Awesome.
And that tied in with Messiah Complex War, and then Second Coming.
I mean,
so it was a good tie-in book to all three of those events that happened. But I really, really enjoyed that stuff. and actually tied into the last X-Force series, which was a lot better than the current X-Force series, in my opinion. So,
what you got, Charlie?
Yeah.
I know that was hard, Brock.
I know it was.
Well, my problem is I'm trying to pick something that I haven't already talked about like half a dozen times on the podcast.
Pick something new.
X-Men Legacy.
Last week or two. Okay.
Yeah, I'll say X-Men.
Which one?
Just honestly, just in general, I've liked that book since right after
Mike Carey.
Well, yeah, I like that stuff through when they were doing the whole Xavier trying to reclaim his memory, and then even after that when Rogue took over. I mean, it's not counting Wolverine and the X-Men because it's still really new. It's been like the most consistent X-Men book I've enjoyed.
Bryce seems disappointed in Charlie's pick. Well, maybe he'll be disappointed in my pick too. So actually, one of the reasons I want to do this is because I really want to talk about this book this week.
Why don't you just recommend X?
Wow, he has it.
That's actually why I didn't pick that book, because I saw it sitting there earlier and went, that's why it was sitting there.
Yes, this is my pick of the week.
Ryan's Marvel book is going to be a DC book.
When it happens, man, Marvel can put out some damn good books. And I been loving Jason Aaron on Wolverine and the X-Men. There's been a couple maybe an arc that I thought was a little weaker than the rest. But Wolverine and X-Men number 17, featuring a day in the life of Dupe, might be the greatest comic book I've read. One of the greatest comics I've read this year. Dupe, for those that don't know, was created during the fantastic run of X-Force and X-Statix by Peter Milligan and Mike Allred back when Marvel did their big changeover. Dupe is this big giant green blob that floats around that talks in weird cryptic code that I don't ever read the translation because I don't want to know what he says. It's better not knowing what he's actually saying. That X-Statix was one of my favorite books for a long time, and hardcore X-Men fans like Bryce hate it. But again, it's so fucking wacky, which is why I liked it. And Wolverine and the X-Men to me was all like the spiritual successor to that series. It was such a weird book, and they finally brought Dupe back, and to have a whole like kind of Dupe day in the life of there's scenes where he's like saving them by playing the guitar, rocking out against Satan. There's he's going up against all these crazy villains. He's playing pool with I'm sorry, not pool. He's playing bowling with the League of Nazi Bowlers. Come on. Ready your balls for destruction, my brothers. You're not going to get a better line. You're not going to get a better line in the comics than this. He's having sex with everyone on the X-Men, male or female, just to kind of appease them because, Dupe does what he needs to. Here's Tigra, She-Hulk, and the Deathbird all lining up for Dupe. Dude, Dupe's the fucking man. Here he is, Omar, hanging with Sabretooth as they're talking about the X-Force stuff. Yeah. Going out with Sabretooth for dinner. And man, a day in the life of Dupe. Hard times, man. But this guy, Dupe is my favorite. And that book is awesome. And if you like Dupe, pick this comic up.
Bullshit!
Oh, sorry, it's not Cannonball.
Just so our listeners know, we were actually talking about a Marvel book and not some really crappy independent book, even though it really sounded like a shitty independent book.
Dude, Jason Aaron nailed
nailed Scalped. He can't nail superheroes to save his life.
Except Wolverine and the X-Men is really good, and this is one of the best issues. Really well. This is the best issue of the series, and Dupe is so funny.
On his Get Mystique arc that got him the job for Wolverine, but then he sucked after that.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the Get Mystique stuff.
I think so.
Wolverine and the X-Men is the book that everyone needs to read, and this issue of Dupe is the best issue that's been
I'm going to read it.
It's phenomenal.
I haven't read it yet.
The real issue that Ryan's referring to is actually, I think, issue 72 of Wolverine, where we see the Wolverine's life, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where he's jumping between the Avengers, and then he's sitting there having a beer, and so basically this is just stealing from that book.
But it was his originally. He's the one that wrote that, though.
I know, but that one's better. So
he's just regurgitating it.
Did you read this issue, Brock?
Why would I read that issue?
Because it's really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Unbelievable.
No, I'm all right.
Let's go over a quick top 6 of Ryan Higgins' favorite, totally DC biased favorite characters ever. Damian Wayne, the Legion of Superheroes. I guess Deep, you're going to throw it in there. New Warriors, anything that's counterculture.
Totally.
Ryan Higgins is all about. And I know I only, what was that, 4 that I only named? But I'm looking for you guys for some help.
I talk about this all the time. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Captain America. I mean, not that I don't like them. I love these characters, but they are not the people that I would put on my favorite
You got me into
lists.
Booster Gold. I admit that. Yeah. So
to me, it is you could not have this issue about even Wolverine. I mean they could, but they don't do the type of craziness they do with these obscure characters, which is why you can kill Nova and he's gone forever, then you replace him with some stupid new version, but still you can kill him and have him be gone forever, and that's so intriguing to me. Whereas Superman or Captain America, they're always going to bring him back. So that's why I like these kind of weird characters. And
he likes characters with an expiration date.
Not necessarily that. It's just you could do more with them, I think.
Yeah. No. I really, really enjoyed when Countdown was going on. I mean, the whole Countdown thing was but I was really enjoying that stuff with Starfire, Animal Man, and Adam Strange.
But even that, they could kill Brock. I mean, you talk about the Outsiders or Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, these are characters that they could kill tomorrow and never bring back. So you're not too far from me.
No.
And the X-Men is full of disposable characters. So outside of the top 10 guys, Wolverine, we'll see about Cyclops, but
yeah, because killing Avengers, I don't know, we can only do that every what?
Yeah, they kill X-Men.
Whenever sales dip below a certain amount, we have to kill somebody.
Every 1 year.
Yeah.
To me,
Cannonball and Sunspot.
Cannon fodder.
No character truly has an expiration date, just because all it takes is some creator coming in who really loved that character and they'll bring him back.
Yeah.
Because for the same reason they can kill him anytime and leave him dead, they can bring him back at any time. And
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about fucking second Robin and Bucky, who we all grew up thinking, oh no, death is not real, except for in those cases, death is real. It's really real. Back. Oh, that's awkward. Now sales of, oh god, now they're alive.
Now they're both back.
Winter Soldier's been awesome.
Yeah.
It has been.
Whatever, I'm just saying that, that was for us growing up, all of us in this room, that was the final death. And then, nope, not anymore.
Not anymore.
See, when it comes to comics, for me, I don't really care if death is permanent or they I get more ticked off when they bring somebody back badly.
Yeah, if the story's good, it's worth it either way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get mad when they kill a character I like as long as it's done well. They can kill Ted Kord every week if they want to, as long as it's as good as Countdown and Infinite Crisis. I mean, that was amazing one shot.
Countdown?
It was. The one shot was amazing.
The story was fine too.
Countdown, he's talking about the one shot before Infinite Crisis.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking.
That's not what I'm
Countdown was good too. I thought it was great because it just played with all the different multiverse, and it was all based around the mini Trinity, which was Donna Troy, Kyle Rayner, and Red Hood.
Well,
go Charlie.
Okay. Well, all I was going to say is for me, I personally really liked Countdown. Now, mind you, at the same time frame as that, I was also reading all the old Jack Kirby Fourth World hardcovers that I got.
Okay.
And reading those sort of with that being fresh in my mind, it made Countdown better.
Yeah.
Well, and for people like the obscure characters we enjoy reading about, I mean, that's partly why I think I got really hooked into at least DC when I got back in was the 52, because they took away all the big characters and they focused on the smaller characters. We got Booster Gold in there, we got The Question in there, we got Batwoman came out of that. We had a lot of characters kind of come up and be exposed in the mainstream. So, but if you want to read about a lot of them at one time, read 52.
This is what you call. I'm sorry for interrupting. This is what you call DC recoil. Because if we talk enough about Marvel, we're gonna have to talk way more about DC.
Well,
next week, all DC.
No, now.
To me, the biggest problem with
DC
both
now.
Countdown and 52 is the fact that when all is said and done, I don't want to necessarily read the whole thing over again. I wouldn't mind reading particular stories from there, and if they put out just trades of the story arcs, I would totally buy the arcs I cared for. I just don't need to read the rest of the arcs again.
Well, maybe they'll do that at some point in the future. Okay, we're going to go ahead and
after
wrap up
they're
now.
done putting out omnibuses and
Yeah. We're going to wrap up now. Bryce, thank you very much for coming by.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll have you on
to be in the presence of such handsome gentlemen. So not awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have you on. We'll have you on again, and make sure you download this episode. We need the 4 people to download it to keep downloading. So
if we're talking more AVX next week, he needs to be here next week.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Bryce, maybe we'll have you back next week.
Yeah, you have a 2.5-month-old. Good luck with that shit.
Huge backlash. Who's that fucking Marvel guy? Get him off.
I was actually going to say Toby wasn't here tonight. He's in the process of moving, and we'll see how well he's moved by next week. And maybe
if today is any indication, probably not.
Yeah. But
if today is any indication, I think he really, really needs to be out by tonight or has to pay rent again. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be over.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. If you like this episode, and you can go ahead and listen to all our other episodes and re-download this episode again if you want to at www.geekbox.net. You can go on forums.geekbox.net and go talk to us. Tell us how much you like Bryce. Go post on the forum. Tell us, you want to hear some more Marvel love or some other stuff. There's always on there. Big Comic Forum. Go talk there. Main page. There's all sorts of stuff on there. Omar is usually pimping that main page pretty good when it goes up.
What's up?
I was going to say, you post like half the time now. It's like every other post is Omar post.
I jump on there, Come on.
That's awesome.
We what do we got? We all got random blogs and stuff you can go to. conspiratorrock.com. That's Brock's blog. Comics in the Kind. That's Omar's site.
So,
Infinite Long Box is Charlie's podcast that he does with all the other guys. Bryce, you don't do this type of stuff.
I'm working on it.
You got anything you want us to pimp?
I'm immerssing myself in the culture.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the culture. I just I'm young, but still haven't caught up to the 21st century. Is that what century we're in?
You're not reading DC, is what you're saying?
No Angel Psylocke fanfic page you want us to link to or anything?
Dude, if I'm gonna link any page, it's gonna be the Rogue Gambit fanfic page.
Okay.
So
and there's some people in that corner, so it's all good.
Trust.
We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Comics and Deckine is Omar, Insanity and Chaos is Charlie, Toby XI is Toby if you want to follow him. Again, Bryce, no Twitter, but maybe we'll get you on there. We'll link
Did you say yours?
I'll get there.
I'm Ryan Higgins, Ryan.
He did.
Yeah.
I love it when he said Toby XI and he rolled his eyes. Toby, he's hating you when you're gone.
I'm not hating Toby. I never hate Toby.
You rolled your eyes.
Did I?
No, yeah. If you want to listen to Toby.
Here comes the feud.
Jeez.
We're going to hear the end of this.
All right. The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net. That's the email if you want to shoot us an email. We still got a ton of emails to read through. Send us the link through your ones there. Hit us up on Twitter for the quick questions, and we'll get some others on the air. Let's see. We're having a big sale this weekend. If you're around in the Bay Area, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come down. We're going to have a bunch of cheap comics. Come meet the personalities behind the podcast if you want to. I think most of us will be here at least one point.
Brock is a Murloc.
Did you already think of the drinks that you're going to be making, Brock?
No, we're not going to have booze.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, no booze at the sale, only at the signings and special events.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. You can go buy some digital comics. Moving on to a little over a year doing this. So actually, I think October is 1 year of doing the digital storefront. So yeah, it's been growing by leaps and bounds. A lot of people using it. So
God, I've been doing deep link pages for a year. Oh,
I know.
I be deep linking every night, son.
We thank you. All right.
Link?
What do you do with your hero clicks?
And on that,
when you're alone.
And on that note, we're gonna go. We'll see everyone next week. Bryce, thanks again for coming by, and we'll see you on here.
Thank you guys.